Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the South Carolina Gamecocks Dynasty here on EA Sports College Football 25, where today the 20th ranked South Carolina Gamecocks sitting at 5-3, fresh off their bye week, will play host to the number 9 ranked 7-1 Florida Gators, who are coming off a huge win last week in Jacksonville against the then number 1 team in the country, Georgia Bulldogs. So it's not going to be easy for South Carolina, who is in the midst of a 3-game losing streak, but they're freshened up. Florida could potentially be walking into a trap, and I think South Carolina today has a chance to beat Florida. So we'll see if they can get it done, though, with the season essentially on the line. If you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content, as the Gator offense will be led out by junior quarterback Addison Putasi. And like I said, a must-win game for the Gamecocks. So the 20th ranked team in the nation at 3 losses. You cannot afford another loss if you want to make the college football playoff. Florida will start the day with a 3-yard carry as the freshman safety from Moultrie, Georgia, Muhammad Ha, comes in for the tackle. 2nd and 7, there's the captain of the defense, Torrey Perkins, right up the gut. Only his 25th tackle of the season. He's had a relatively quiet year. And now it's 3rd and 8 for Florida right off the rip. As on 3rd down, Putasi will scramble. He can do this pretty well as he picks up a first down gain of 10 with his legs. Florida has a pretty solid offensive line as well, led by left guards John Banks and right tackle Matthew Pippin. So it'll be tough to add pressure today, but right when I say that, Putasi will get one on the ground. 2nd and 9, throw right side. This one's caught. The first downfield throw for Florida today, as that one's going to be caught at about midfield. Putasi last week, 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. Is here on first down. He's going to keep it. And Everett doesn't do the quarterback any justice on the outside by diving on the halfback down low. You got to contain against Putasi in this Florida offense. They're going to run it a lot outside the tackles. And you got to help contain. 2nd and 9 now, trying to set up a screen. This one's not going to work. And it's another 3rd down for the Gators. To throw is Putasi as he will scramble, look short, and this one will not be a first down. And Florida will kick the 3, taking the lead. And now we're going to look at the South Carolina offense, and this is the matchup to watch today. Juan Gallegos, leader of these wide receivers, who have been kind of quiet recently. And he's going up against Emmett Ellington, who has 5 interceptions on the season. Speaking of the offense, though, this is not the passing game. This is the ground game. Welcome back, Sonny Dora, who on his first carry after an injured ankle return picks up 33, and that essentially doubles his yardage this season thus far. So hopefully the addition of Dora back to the offense after the bye week can get us a spark on offense that's been lacking recently. You can see coming into this game with 32 yards, picked up 33 on that first run. Next play, here's a nice pass to Vernon Ryder on the left side, who takes a shot, and South Carolina's driving here. Next play, a nice screen for Beck, who's going to score, but it's not going to count. There's a holding call on right guard Kevin Fine that wipes out this touchdown. This South Carolina team has a tendency to shoot themselves in the foot, and here's another case here. So instead of a touchdown, it's 1st and 20. They'll give it back to Dora, who will pick up 7 yards. He's already got 3 carries, 50 yards. 2nd and 13, trying to set up a screen, and that will not work. Florida gets to the quarterback in time. Quandre Uzuma with the hit, starting in place of the impact Angel Labinho, who's hurt. 3rd and 13, Brock just checks it short. South Carolina will take the field goal, and we're knotted up at 3 after the drive of both teams. Second drive here for Florida, 2nd and 2. This one across the middle. Watch out, referee. This one's caught by Ernest Tarai, the halfback, who crosses midfield, and off the big play, Florida wants to go at no huddle. They'll hand it off next play. This is the tight end getting a carry. I'm not sure why you wouldn't just hand it off to the halfback. But he only gets 1. 2nd and 9 now, trying to set up a screen, and it's read beautifully by Everett. There's the contain. Good job. And that was 3rd and 9. Putasi under some pressure will take a sack. Andy Everett was going to get there with a sack as Kieran with the pressure, though, will allow Everett to get it. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. It's been a defensive battle thus far. Both teams have kicked a field goal. As you can see the numbers, pretty even across the board. South Carolina will start off the second quarter with the football. 1st and 10 at the 42 of Florida. As they will hand this one off, and Dora will stand no chance up the middle. 2 Gators in the backfield. It's a loss of 5. Now it's 3rd and 15 for South Carolina. They want the deep ball. McCord with the step. But Brock underthrows that one and allows the deflection to happen. That might have been a missed opportunity for the Gamecocks. They'll punt it back to Florida here, 1st and 10 at their own 40 is the nice strike outside for Alfonso Engler, the junior, with his first grab, 14 yards. Now entered South Carolina territory, 1st and 10, but Potassi's going to go down. That's Greg Bodden up the middle. Sack numbers down this year for the senior, but there's a big one there. Now it's 3rd and 11 for Florida. They want the screen. Tarai's got the space, but he will not win the foot race to the marker. And Florida will punt it back. So South Carolina, defense settling in here. Now the offense has to start getting going. It's on 1st and 10. Here's a 9-yard connection to the tight end, Danny Cribbs. Brock 5 for 9, 44 yards in the early going. It's not been easy. A little 2nd and 1, though. He hands off to Sonny Dora, who gets the first down, takes a shot. He's already got 9 for 69 today. Good job for Dora. Next play is a short pass for Gallegos, who gets his first catch of the afternoon. 8 yards up the middle. 2nd and 2, they touch pass it to him, getting him a couple touches involved in this offense, and he picks up the first down with 2 catches for 15 yards. Now to the 36. Here's a nice throw out wide for Ryder, who picks up 6. And South Carolina will just take what the defense gives them, but on 2nd and 4, Brock doesn't read it right. There's a great play for the impact lineman, Santiago Laporta. And now it's 3rd and 8. Brock has an open man, and he misses his throw. That's the 2nd time in back-to-back drives that Brock has missed the throw that he should have connected on. And now it's going to set up 51 yards for Marquise Atogwe, who will nail it down the middle. So at least the Gamecocks get 3, but it could have been more. They lead now 6-3. It's been a very quick first half. Now 3rd and 4 for Florida, as they will go 3 and out as Perkins will bat this ball down. The defense has played exceptional today. We'll see if South Carolina, though, can do anything with it. 4 minutes to go. They're sitting at 2nd and 10. As Brock makes some adjustments, he wants to run, but he's not going to go anywhere. That's going to be a sack for a slew of Gators. Now it's 3rd and 11 for the Gamecocks. Brock again making some adjustments. Quickly rolls to his left off the pressure. Has a man wide open, but he misses the throw. That's the 3rd throw Brock should have hit in the first half. Instead, he misses it. So instead, it's going to be a punt, and what could have been a big play. The defense again forces a 3 and out coming off of the 2-minute warning. We're just going to go into the halftime report. Nothing happens as the Gamecocks lead 6-3 in what's been a defensive war for both teams. Even though it's been a quick game, it's kind of nice to see the defense play well. I just wish the offense would step up. I mean, they've had a lot of opportunities, but Brock's just been a little inaccurate today. We'll see what they can do to start the second half. Hopefully, Coach Rob got their butts in order, as here's a nice sweep to Sonny Dora, who's actually played really well today. 11 carries, 85 yards for the returning halfback. Now to the 31, it's Dora again. Actually, this is Todia, excuse me, and he has not had the best 2 carries. He only has 5 yards. He'll still be used intermittently. He will not just completely get out of the offense. 2nd and 9, Brock wants the short throw, and he's got Dora for it, who's also a receiving halfback. But you can see Brock's numbers, only 14 for 23 and 107 yards. It's not been easy for him. Here's a bubble screen for McCord out wide, who'll pick up 3 on it. As on 2nd and 7, Dora up the middle, who will be dragged down by Laporta. And now it's a 3rd down for the Gamecocks. At their own, my picture at the Florida 48. Brock will throw for it, and he will go incomplete. Throws it behind the receiver. And again, this drive stalls. So nothing happens here. It's still 6-3. So we'll see the first drive for the Gators on the second half. And it starts with a nice run by Tarai, who breaks the tackle and picks up 29 yards on the ground. Florida gets a big play, so they'll go no huddle here to try to catch South Carolina on the back foot. They want the bubble screen out wide for Tarai, and it's not going to go anywhere. Everett with a nice read, only picks up 3. You can see Putassi's numbers, 10 for 15 for 109 yards. 2nd and 7, they go with a draw, but South Carolina's ready for it. They bring a blitz. It's going to be a loss of 3, and now it's a 3rd and 10 for the Gators. Patassi back to the air, checks it down short. That's not going to get the first down, and again, a defense punt forced, as they have played amazing today. Next drive for the Gamecocks. Here they are with their own 37 with a nice run from Dora, who picks up a first down. And now South Carolina, after Dora crosses the century mark, has reached about midfield. And this seems to be where the drives have stalled today. We get to about midfield, and then we can't go anywhere. There's a good example there. It was on 1st and 10. There was blanket coverage. 2nd down, they hand it off to Dora, who picks up 8. And now we've entered Florida territory. They have a 3rd and 2. Brock wants to throw, actually tucks it and runs it, and he'll pick up the first down, and this drive stays alive. So we'll see what South Carolina can finally get over that midfield hump with this drive. They're at the 39 now of Florida as Brock rolls out, just dumps it to the sidelines, nobody open. 15 for 27 for him. 2nd and 10, Dora up the middle, continues to get big gaps, and he picks up a first down, and this puts us at the 28 of the Gators in field goal range. Keenan Todia will check in for his 3rd carry. He picks up 4. He only has 9 yards total, as he just hasn't had the same holes that Dora's had. 2nd and 6, speaking of Dora, he's going to pick up 3 here, and now it's a big 3rd and 3. Brock making some changes. Florida will stack the box. They'll go play fake. Brock keeps his eyes downfield, awkward throw, but he finds McCord this time for a touchdown, and finally somebody's reached the end zone. Brock doesn't miss that throw. He gets it to McCord, who gets his first touchdown of the season. And South Carolina leads 13-3. So now Florida down by 2 scores for the first time today. They got to do something here as they have a nice run, but there might have been a reason why. Holding call on impact guard John Banks will erase this play. So instead of 2nd and 9, it'll be 2nd and 14, and after an incompletion, it's now 3rd and 14. Florida wants to screen, there's nothing there, and they'll punt it right back to South Carolina, who leads this one 13-3. Going into the final quarter, defense has reigned supreme. We'll see if they can hold on and upset the number 9 team in the nation. 4th quarter will start with South Carolina 2nd and 1 from the 27 of Florida, and they'll go with a throw to Danny Cribbs, who will go for a touchdown. What a way to start the 4th quarter. Florida was settling out on the short run, and South Carolina with a perfect counter over the top finds Danny Cribbs, and they now lead 20-3, and now a 3-score game here in Columbia. South Carolina closing in on a victory. Next drive, though, from Florida. Here they are at their own 30, and they connect with a deep ball for 70 yards. Andre Head, the sophomore, gets behind Jaleel Griggs. And, well, Florida will answer right back. So just like that, within the first couple of seconds, it seems like, of the 4th quarter, there's already been more touchdowns than the entire 3 combined. It's now 20-10. South Carolina faces an early 3rd and 7. Try not to get the football right back to Florida as Brock rolls out to his right, fires downfield, and this one's incomplete. Overthrew his receiver, but there's a flag down. They're going to get pass interference on Florida. Well, if I'm a Gator fan, I am heated. That seems very ticky-tacky. South Carolina will obviously take it as they get the drive to continue, now at the 44 of Florida. So we'll thank the refs for that one, it seems like. 5 yards to the ground for Dora to add to his excellent day. Makes it 2nd and 5. Now Brock wants a deep ball. Has a receiver with a step, but it's incomplete. Again, Brock with an underthrow on the deep ball. Is he losing a little bit of arm strength? Something that could be concerning. 3rd and 5. This time throw with a strike down the field from Brock. Okay, maybe he didn't lose the arm strength. That was a great throw to McCord. Next play, 1st and goal. This one out wide has nobody in front of him, but Cribbs steps out of bounds after a loss of 1. So it's 2nd and goal from the 11. Brock rolls to his right. Just tries to dump it short, but he gets tipped. Now it's 3rd down. From the 11. Brock to throw for it. Looks right side. Has a man open, but he throws it behind Cribbs. Brock has not been accurate today. I know we're up 23-10 now, but he's missed some throws. Up by 13. Here's the next drive for Florida is on 2nd and 10. They go short for a gain of 8. Butasi, 211 yards. 70 of those coming on that deep ball, though. Look at this formation, 3rd and 2. It's a play fake over the middle, incomplete. South Carolina ready for it. And that'll be a punt. South Carolina now up by 13 with about 6.5 to go, and they're in Florida territory, firmly in the driver's seat. Just don't throw this one away. South Carolina is also running some clock here. They know they're up with the ball, as there's nowhere to go for Dora on that play, and it's 3rd and 3. This time Brock will keep it himself, and he will get the first down, running away from the defense all the way down to the 16. A nice 31-yard keeper for Brock. And now it's a red zone trip for South Carolina. They'll continue to bleed some clock. 1st and 10, bubble screen out wide for Gallegos, and he'll pick up 8. Now we're inside the 10. Brock at 2:29 today. Clock continuing to be burned here. 2nd and 2. Dora up the middle will get 1 before being hit down. He has 168 yards rushing today. Underneath center, 3rd and 1. Brock to throw short for McCord, who holds on through the contact for the touchdown. His 2nd of the day, and South Carolina right back up by 3 scores. It's now 29-10. They'll go for the 2, though, trying to make it a 3-touchdown game. They'll hand it off to Dora, and he won't get it. But still, 19 points as we head to the 2-minute warning. South Carolina looks like they're in good spot as it's a third down here for the Gators. Putassi to throw, and he will look across the middle, and that one should have been intercepted. Instead, it's dropped by Griggs, and it's now 4th down. This is the game right here. 4th and 2, heavy stack to the left. They'll run it to the right, and he'll just get it, as that'll keep the game alive momentarily. Florida hurries back to the line. 1st and 10, short. This one caught by Tarai, but not a first down, so clock will tick. Florida will hold on to 3 timeouts. 2nd and 4, now a throw short. This one will be a first down to Andre Head, and they will use their first timeout. At midfield now, throw short left side, caught out of bounds, gain of 4, clock stops. That's the 3rd grab of the day for Derek Birmingham, who leads the way with 785 yards this season. 2nd and 6, a nice throw up the middle to Engler, who will get it inside the 15 down to the 12. Florida will again hold on to the timeouts. Clock now coming up on a minute. 1st and 10. Putassi short out of the backfield. Tarai stays in bounds, and he'll pick up 6 before stepping out at the 5. Next play, Putassi short. This one will be caught out of bounds. A yard short of the marker. From the 3, Putassi to throw. Rolls to his right. South Carolina giving chase, but he'll find the end zone for a touchdown. 2nd rushing touchdown of the season for Putassi, and now Florida is going to be within 2 scores. Down by 12, pinning this kick, which is good. But you got to get the onside kick. Now, South Carolina has not had the best history of onside kicks this season. If they can recover this one, it'll be game, and they do, as it's picked up by Kennedy, who leaps forward for some strange reason. And that'll do it for this one. South Carolina wins 29-17 against the number 9 ranked Florida Gators and picks up a huge win to keep their season alive and should propel them a couple spots up the rankings. Brockett's player of the game, I don't agree with that. I feel like it should have been Dora, who was great in his return from injury. And honestly, this was just a good overall game for the Gamecocks. I know the 4th quarter is going to look wacky. It seems like we play the wildest 4th quarters, but our defense played really good today. We had a game plan on both sides of the football, and it was executed perfectly. On offense, it was just run it. Florida likes to play a 3-2-6 defense, which opens up the middle. So why not? Well, on defense, it was just contain, and I feel like we did a good job, and we get back in the win column. We also get a commit. 4-star wide receiver Cody Davis from Lehigh Acres High School is committed. The big-bodied, fast receiver, like what he saw this week. And after his visit, he will commit to the program. 6'2", 210 with some speed and can catch. I love that skill set. Fortunately, though, overall, it wasn't the best week of recruiting, so we lose out on a lot of guys. Terrell Dickens, the 4-star defensive end, will commit to Tennessee. Left tackle David Egnew from Indiana will commit in-state to Purdue. We get locked out on left tackle Ben Daniels, and then halfback Quincy Oluokun will commit to Tennessee. So we lost out on a lot of guys this week, but hey, at least we get Davis. Here's your top stories. Look at the Heisman race. Nick Kennedy of Notre Dame's quarterback leads the way. And then a big game this week between Auburn and Florida, who look to bounce back after their loss. We'll see Michigan beat Michigan State this week, and then also TCU falls to Baylor in Waco. Here are the actual scores of the week. On Monday, Louisiana Tech, after upsetting Western Kentucky last week, loses New Mexico State. Also on Monday, Louisiana will beat Coastal Carolina. On Thursday, an SEC game, Kentucky will go to Arkansas and win. The Razorbacks have lost a couple and have fallen out of the rankings. Boise State with their victory in the conference against Utah State, and then UTSA will lose a close one at home to Charlotte. Starting off on Saturday, Maryland beats Northwestern, knocking the Wildcats out of the top 25. South Alabama beats James Madison, and then Tulsa dominates East Carolina 47-10. Ohio State with a big victory over Indiana, 30-23. Georgia back in the win column, dominating Vanderbilt. And then Purdue loses a close one to Nebraska. The Cornhuskers get a much-needed win after being in free-fall mode. Bowling Green out of the rankings. They lose to Miami, Ohio this week. Middle Tennessee State with a conference victory over Kennesaw State. Toledo beats Akron in the MAC. And then Washington with a victory over USC, former Pac-12 schools, now in the Big Ten. And it's Washington with the victory. Troy beats Southern Miss by 8. And then Iowa State with a big win against Utah. They're now moved up to number 8. Don't sleep on the Cyclones. Western Kentucky gets a victory against Liberty, but it could be too little too late for the Hilltoppers, who are now down to number 18. Kent State over Buffalo in the MAC. And then Oregon in the game of the week beats UCLA 31-17, trying to prove that the Ducks deserve to be the number 1 team. Alabama puts up 63 on Texas A&M. My goodness. LSU dominates their rivals Mississippi State to enter the rankings. And then Pitt stays undefeated in the ACC. They beat North Carolina. Baylor now up to number 5 after beating their rivals TCU 24-10. Ball State with a statement victory against Western Michigan 31-3. Fresno State puts 52 up on Oregon State, while Missouri wins a close one against Ole Miss. The Rebels seem like the kings of losing close games this season. UAB beats Army by a touchdown. North Texas beats Rice. That's a huge loss for the Owls, who will be ejected from any playoff conversation. Syracuse beats Georgia Tech in a close one. New Mexico dominates Northern Illinois. Arizona with a close victory on the road against Texas Tech. Louisiana Monroe beats Georgia Southern, while FIU will beat SHSU 23-3. Kansas State over Houston, and the Cougars have lost 2 straight conference games. And then Michigan, we saw beat Michigan State. Auburn with a close victory on the road against Texas. The Longhorns are now 5-6 on the season. Memphis with a victory over Florida Atlantic, as well as in the Mountain West. Texas State with a close one beats UTEP. Hawaii 31-10 over the rivals in San Jose State. Clemson wins a close one against Florida State. The Tigers are on a winning streak. I hope that ends by the time we play them. Rutgers with a close victory over Wisconsin out in the Big Ten. And then San Diego State over Washington State in the Pac-12. While in the Big 12, Arizona State will lose to Central Florida, who actually close it out this week. Wyoming beats Nevada 28-7. South Florida over Temple. And then Oklahoma State beats Jacksonville State in a rare non-conference game this late in the season. Miami beats their rivals Virginia Tech. They're sitting at number 7, while SMU with an ACC victory beats California 27-21. Colorado gets their second win of the season over Cincinnati, and UNLV will beat Colorado State in a big Pac-12 victory for them. Penn State up to number 2 now with a victory against Illinois, and then Duke closes out the week by beating their rivals in Wake Forest. Here are your players of the week. On the defense is Johnny Rice of South Florida with 2 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and a forced, while Alabama's Marquise Howden had 5 touchdowns receiving. He will obviously get SEC Offensive Player of the Week as well, while the defense will go to Austin Ham of Arkansas. Here's the new top 25. One thing interesting, Notre Dame was idle at 11-0, and they moved down to number 3. I don't know how Notre Dame is falling. They're the last undefeated team in the country. We move up 5 spots to number 15, which means we are firmly in the conversation for the college football playoff. As long as we win out these final 3 games, we might not even have to go to Atlanta in order to make the playoff. Here's the top games this week. The ranked matchup we saw, Florida versus Auburn. The other top 25 is in the Big 10, where number 13 Ohio State will play number 24 Nebraska. While a big game out in the Big 12, Iowa State, number 8, hosts Oklahoma State. And number 4, Georgia, will play host to Arkansas. We get a little bit of a break against ranked teams this week as we play host to 4 and 5 Mississippi State. But with that being said, you cannot sleep on the Bulldogs. We've seen this story before. Coming off a huge ranked win, we play Mississippi State, and we've lost this game in the past. So let's please not fall into this trap again. I think we match up well against Mississippi State, but they do have a really good linebacker core of all things, something we have not seen this year. We like to throw over the middle, so we might have to think on another approach against the Bulldogs. But it's nice to end this 3-game losing streak. We now sit 6-3 at number 15, and hopefully can keep the momentum going next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.